Yeah, so quickly, so I would call that high quadrant up and to the right is
Hmm.
authority plus vulnerability. The word I use for that in the book is flourishing. I
Yeah.
actually think this is, I've done this. It's so fun. And I don't know, maybe we should do it. It would be interesting to ask you, like, you asked me, when do you feel most alive? Right.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And when you ask people that question, um, it almost inevitably turns out there's an element of authority and an element of vulnerability
Hmm.
at the same time.
Interesting.
Now, I'm not sure. Maybe it should be when I'm climbing a hill on my bike. There's a little more
Uh-huh.
vulnerability there, but there's something about the movement. Being on a bicycle is a vulnerable thing. It's actually not.
Yeah.
It's not even like it's very different from being in a car, for example. You're much
Yeah.
more exposed.
Yeah.
You could fall. You're
Hmm.
if you're pushing yourself to the edge of your limits, which I definitely do when I'm out for a ride.
Yeah.
So this is flourishing.
Hmm.
This is, I would say, what human beings are meant to experience. It's our peak experiences.
Yeah.
Maybe let's go to the opposite corner, which is low. So
Hmm.
that would be neither authority nor vulnerability. And I
Yeah.
actually these days use two words for this. One is safety.
Hmm.
So when you're safe, you're not being asked to act in any way,
Yeah.
and you're not exposed to risk. And this
Yeah.
is actually where a healthy human life begins. It
Hmm.
begins as much as our parents could. They created an environment where we had very little capacity to act. They
Hmm.
put us in a crib. They covered up all the outlets, all that stuff,
Yeah.
and very little exposure to risk. Um, but I also call this corner withdrawal because we're not meant to stay there. We're meant to move up and to the right, increase
Yeah.
in authority, increase in vulnerability. But a lot of us at different points in our lives kind of turn around and head back to that safety that we maybe knew as infants, maybe didn't know, depending on
Yeah.
our family situation.
Right.
But that we sometimes all just I just want to, like, put my head under a pillow or under the covers and not have to act with authority and not have to take risk in the world.
Yeah.
And the reason we're tempted to that corner is because
Hmm.
of the one that's over to the right, down and to the right, which is vulnerability without authority.
Hmm.
And I would call that suffering
Hmm.
fundamentally, where
Hmm.
you are very exposed to risk. But it's not just that; it's that you cannot do anything. You can't
Yeah.
change it. You can't act in a meaningful
Hmm.
way to change your situation. That's a very fundamental part of the human condition. It's actually the only corner that every person I will ever meet has been in. So
Hmm.
not everybody has tasted real flourishing in their life, and not
Right.
everybody ever got to experience safety.
Right.
But every one of us, at least by like middle school, had some experience
Huh.
of incredible vulnerability with no ability to influence your environment or your situation.
Interesting.
And then the upper left is what you start to dream of when you experience suffering, and that's authority without vulnerability,
Right.
which sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Because and this is actually something that's changed a little bit since I wrote the book. I now
Hmm.
my main name for that corner, authority without vulnerability, now it's not
Hmm.
quite how I name it in the book, is control.
Ah.
Control
Hmm.
is the ability to act without any uncertainty about what will happen.
Hmm.
And the thing is, the world is not designed to give you control. The cosmos,
Yeah.
I don't think God set up the world for anyone to have control. Perhaps not
Hmm.
even God. A little bit controversial to say that, but I
Hmm.
don't even think God cares about this corner for himself. And he
Yeah.
certainly doesn't set up the world in such a way that we human beings can have it outside of very particular, what you could call mechanical systems. So I'm going to get on
Yeah.
a plane tomorrow, and there's an extremely high likelihood that plane will go up and down and be fine,
Hmm.
because it's as complex as it is. We've just worked so hard. Engineers have worked so hard to create what we call control systems that
Yeah.
are redundant and multiple and well tested, and we just know how to do this.
Yeah.
Um, but when I'm in a conversation with my wife, when I'm in an encounter, say with one of our fellows in our program, these entrepreneurs we work with, as I'm in this conversation with you, am
Hmm.
I meant to have control of this conversation?
Right.
Absolutely not. That's not the right thing. And the quest for that leads to the word I do use in the book for this corner, which is exploiting.
Yeah.
All of our human exploitation of one another,
Yeah.
exploitation of creation,
Yeah.
emerges from this quest for authority without vulnerability.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
those are the four corners.